Rachel Zegler is on a mission to destroy Disney. The upcoming Snow White live-action star apparently has caught the eye and the ire of Bob Iger, CEO of the company. Now, when listing out the movies he expects to see succeed in 2025, guess who he's leaving off the list? It's another sign Rachel Zegler's career is running out of time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. We are having just a wonderful Friday, and we're so happy that you're here with us. What a joy. What a pleasure. Folks, we're going to be diving into today's topic, and as we do, we ask that you click that like button. The topic, of course, is Rachel Zegler. She continues to make headlines in the worst possible ways for Disney, and now it finally appears the House of Mouse has had enough. Will they pull the plug? Well, you be the judge. It's time to get started right now. They cannot get away from Snow White fast enough, let me tell you.
Yeah, let's since we're there, let's go ahead and talk about this one briefly. Disney Snow White actress Rachel Zegler causes controversy with unhinged social media election tantrum. Hopes Trump supporters never know peace. So I really don't try to talk about politics on this channel. It's not something that I favor doing here. It's such a heated thing, but apparently the star of the remake of Disney's biggest movie ever, and especially if you account for inflation, Snow White is always near the top of the list. It is obviously the foundation of Disney animation, and without Disney animation, they wouldn't have been able to do the parks. And without the parks, they wouldn't have been able to get into television, everything. Snow White is the linchpin on which this entire movie, everything that Walt Disney does comes back to Snow White. And right now, you've got this very angry young woman here with no publicist to speak of, or if she has a publicist, she needs to fire that person. Keeps going down this rabbit hole. I don't know if I can even read these on the air.
I've got a theory, Jonas, on what's bothering her so badly. Either she has a pinched nerve in her lumbar region, or she's realizing that she has not had a box office win in the movie region. One of those is going on here, because this lady is supposed to be a star. Everybody says she's a star. And I look and I say, wait a minute. Don't you have to have at least one hit under your belt to be a star? And then I go, I think I see why she's so angry. I see why she's doing a Broadway play now. Career change.
It's an excellent way to stay out of the spotlight there. It's okay. So if I'm being as complimentary as possible to Ms. Zegler here, it does take a level of performance that a lot of actors are not up for, to go and do live performances on a regular basis on Broadway. So that's a compliment I'm going to pay Ms. Zegler.
I'm glad she may be good at it, because she may be doing it for a long time instead of movies.
And this is an environment in which she's probably getting a lot of encouragement. There's probably not a lot of pushback on Broadway against this kind of rhetoric. But she says,
do you know, Jonas, that in these screenshots that it's revealed that she sent these during an intermission on Broadway?
Right.
She was literally sending these screeds against the majority of the country. Mm-hmm. While she's on the clock.
Yeah, I'm trying very hard to keep the curse words out of it. I think I can go about that high. No, maybe slightly higher, and still keep the foul language off of this. Okay, that's all. Going on stage for Act 2 now, and I need to get off my soapbox before I get too heated. This is paragraphs of screed against half of the country. She's saying that she hopes that they
on people. I always like to say sending love. After I wish, I like to just really slug somebody right in the face and then say, sending you love.
My favorite part in writing this article was just pointing out like how she keeps ending it, but then keeps going, where she would say like, I could go on, but I won't. She then goes on.
It's like we're in an abusive relationship with her, and we don't even want to hear from her. She just doesn't stop. She's back again. She's back again. You know Disney loves this.
I mean, isn't there anybody counseling her on any of this stuff? Like, hey, let's not go on screeds while you're on your break. Could you imagine?
I know
bro, between between appearances from Valiant Renegade and this show that you're watching right now, that Park Place Magic Morning, could you imagine I'm just going to go ahead and just offend half the country. Yeah.
Vash, thank you for volunteering. Folks, we've nominated Vash. Vash, you're going to be the counselor for this young starlet. Hope you have fun with that, buddy.
Also, but the important thing that
point.
I want to tie this back to the earnings call here. Why are we talking about Snow White and the earnings call in the same breath, in the same segment?
This is gonna shoot the original Snow White ratings to the stratosphere on Disney Plus. That's what I heard.
Because Bob Iger mentioned all of the projects that they would have in the pipeline over the next year, and Snow White is in March, but Bob Iger did not mention Snow White. For the second earnings call in a row, Bob Iger did not mention Snow White in their list of upcoming films that are going to be reviving Disney's place at the box office here.
The only other Walt Disney Pictures movie that it did not mention was Freakier Friday, and it also did not mention The Thunderbolts. But it just seems strange to me that a movie as big as a live-action adaptation of Snow White, which comes out in the first quarter of the year, was purposely omitted from this.
Boys and girls, I'm going to defend Disney right now. They deserve a defense, Jonas.
Okay.
They were simply trying to be fair and balanced and create parity. They mentioned Rachel Zegler the same number of times they mentioned Gina Carano.
Well, that is the other aspect here. The Gina Carano lawsuit is ongoing, and her takes were considered by Lucasfilm, because this is what Lucasfilm directly said online. They considered her takes to be deplorable. I forget the exact words, but I do believe deplorable was one of them in there, and very specifically went after Gina Carano. They say it wasn't a firing, but they made it very public that they were ending their relationship with her. I think it's going to legally bear out that it's a firing. I don't know. I don't have any special access on that information, but I think in court they're probably going to find it as a firing. But Disney making that kind of statement about an actor or actress, that is the special thing about what they did to Gina Carano. And then you have Rachel Zegler over here making a very long post out of the blue. Has nothing to do with her production, has nothing to do with anything that actually affects Rachel Zegler's life. And she is going off on half of the country and saying that she hopes that they never find peace. It's semi-threatening language. It's not directly threatening language, but it is semi-threatening.
I have it on good authority from my friend Homer Simpson what it was like in the attorney's room for Gina Carano when Rachel Zegler put out these awful Instagram posts. I'll translate what Homer Simpson told me. Pretty much went like that.
I mean, this is after, by the way, 2 attempts on the life of the president-elect. Can you imagine if she were to say something like this towards Kamala or Kamala voters? I mean, the left would be having a field day.
Oh my God, it would be open season on her. Like every political pundit in the country would be teeing off.
Right, and we're talking about rhetoric open season.
Right, and I was very careful when writing this to say, like, it appears as though she's wishing harm or misfortune on Trump supporters, because never know peace could mean, I hope you wear an itchy sweater for the rest of your life. That's unfortunate. That would be misfortune.
That's bad. Don't you wish that upon me, Ricky Bobby?
And this is also a woman who, on a movie that we're repeatedly hearing that it probably cost at least $400 million before marketing. But when that marketing did come out, she responded with, and also, let me give you my take on a very contentious war conflict going on over in the Middle East. She can't. And by the way, one that her co-star would seemingly be on the opposite perspective on. I'm being vague because we're on YouTube, but this is a woman that I would never pay money to put her in a film unless that film was supposed to be like a raunchy, edgy take, not the kind of film that I would support, honestly, that was supposed to be controversial. Films like The Interview, where you're obviously doing something that is supposed to be comedic and dark. This is supposed to be Snow White, one of the safest properties out there. A nice story, which does have some comments about the patriarchy, I suppose, if they're doing it this way. But it's a romantic movie. It's a classic movie. It's a movie that Disney has made almost 100 years of profit on, and she is somehow going to she's going to erase a portion of that profitability whenever this thing actually comes out.
Somebody right now should be doing memes of Matt Gaetz being Prince Charming. Now, I'm not here to endorse Matt Gaetz or get into that. I just think that Rachel Zegler's head would explode. And that sounds enjoyable. Proverbially, folks. Metaphorically, folks. Not literally.
We're talking about having our mind blown. Not
put that out there, folks. Yeah. She would. I think she might respond to that if you stick that on Instagram.
Yeah, what do you think this means, though? And if anybody has any comments, I do want to give Pro the last word on this, because I know we only have him for a limited time. Why is it that Disney is for another quarter not mentioning this film when they're talking to investors? Bro,
I get the last word. They get the first words. What are you doing to me, man?
Sorry, Vash was slow on the uptake there. He was being polite. Yep. So go ahead, Vash.
Well, no, I think because of the amount of money they've actually spent on this film, the production problems it's actually had, the controversies surrounding it in the media, I don't think they want to necessarily tout this film all too much. Perhaps when we get closer to its actual release date, maybe they might say something about it. Perhaps if it's a big hit, they might actually say something. But right now, there's a lot of risk. And, we all know investors don't like risk. So why bring it up now when all of that looms over it? Go ahead, bro.
Not to mention, I mean, look at the like to dislike ratio on that. We have a screenshot in the article here. You look at the like to dislike ratio on this trailer for this one, and it's about 90-something thousand all the way up to 1.2, 1.3 million, I think it is. Yep. Yeah, 1.3 million right there. Which so sentiments are very much down, and Disney has to know that. They can't turn a blind eye to that.
I haven't had enough time to think about this. I'm sorry. I'm not ready for you, Jonas. All right, fine. I've not spoken enough about Snow White and Zegler. There's still more to be picked out of my pro brain. Why? Because I know these Holly weirds better than they know themselves. And that unfortunately includes Zegler. All right, here's what I think about it. Guys, they talked about Mufasa today. Even Mufasa got mentioned, which is going to be the first time the Lion King gets lambasted on the box office. A loser, poor Simba. He's going to be so disappointed in his dad. James Earl Jones' memory desecrated by losing to Sonic the Hedgehog. No, James Earl Jones, you're still cool no matter what. But Mufasa is trailing badly. It's not looking good. Really, really, really bad stuff going to head-to-head against Sonic 3. Now, why do I bring that up? What does Mufasa have to do with Rachel Zegler? Well, they talked about Mufasa. They bragged about Mufasa. So what does that mean? Well, it means that a movie that's likely to lose for them and not do well, at least domestically, well, they're still happy to talk about that. They don't want to talk about Zegler. And that means that it goes beyond just the box office projections. They don't want to talk about Zegler, period, because she's abrasive, she's venomous, she's volatile. Her career probably coming to an end in terms of Hollywood thinking that she can give them a win. They'll talk about their loser projects they have coming up, and they've got a bunch. They'll do that because they expect that the reference to the brand is big enough. Oh, we got a Lion King movie coming out. Don't pay attention to how it's going to do versus that dumb hedgehog. But they don't want to talk about Snow White because they don't want to ask or answer questions about Snow White. And that, I think, is the ultimate downfall of Zegler, is that no matter what it does at the box office, Disney is done with this woman.
I think that's actually the best option here. I'm not trying to cancel anybody. I'm not trying to say that anybody shouldn't find work. I hope she finds work. I just can't see anyone investing the hundreds of millions of dollars that they have invested in her. Almost $1 billion at this point, if you look at all of the productions that have failed to perform well at the box office for this young lady.
Well, folks, we want to add an addendum here, and that is that at the end of the day, that would be yesterday, Rachel Zegler finally came to her senses. And by that we mean we believe Disney called her and said, hey, you're going to come to your senses now or else you're going to lose all that paycheck we promised you. And so Zegler, at the end of her career, the sunlight, the twilight of what she will be able to do with movie theaters, she has come out with an apology. That's right. If you are a moderate, a centrist, or a conservative, well, she might be apologizing to you. We'll read it right now. This out of her Instagram, because finally Zegler has gone too far, apparently. Disney's had enough. Here's what she says. Hi, everyone. I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post, not posts, I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding. And that was her. She was doing that. And I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse. This week has been emotional for so many of us, but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their opinion, even when it differs from my own. I'm committed to contributing positively towards a better tomorrow. Well, folks, I think a publicist wrote this, but I'm not sure. I think Disney forced her to do this, but I'm not sure. I don't think that Zegler deserves the benefit of the doubt. And yet, folks, grace is needed for every single one of us. And given that I think that Zegler, there's a 99.99% chance that this is not authentically her voice, and she does not believe it. But folks, you know the old adage that you would rather have 99 guilty people out free rather than have one innocent person in jail? That's going to go for Zegler. I would rather that we forgive Zegler and be the kind of people who move on than to be the kind of bitter people who hold her accountable but maybe miss the opportunity to say, okay, you're off the hook. We'll watch and see what Zegler does with her future. If she returns to her pattern, we're here to call it out. She has been one of the most abrasive, venomous, and vile actresses in all of Hollywood, and that's really saying something. The real victim of Zegler's actions? Zegler. She's the one who had all the potential in the world, and she has diminished her career opportunities. I am sad for Rachel Zegler. I hope that this will be the beginning of her turning things around. I am not optimistic. However, there's always hope, and there's always grace on the Pro Channel. Zegler, it's up to you. Fix this, get better. We have all made mistakes. I truly hope this is authentic and the moment you begin to grow. Good night, game over, drive home safely. Folks, this video is done. But before we all head home, we only ask one thing. Folks, as you get ready to head on out, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and share your thoughts, for a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste not that beautiful personality of yours. And folks, we would say as you get ready to head out the door, that it has been an honor to spend time with you, an attitude of gratitude each and every time that you elect to join together with us. Breaking bread and breaking entertainment, well, the industry. No, we like entertainment. It's the industry that irks us sometimes. Well, it was a good time. We hope you had a good time. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.